Well, hello again everyone, and welcome to Breakfast with Evo. And today we're going to be looking at Tandridge's hole number 7, drivable par 4. This is where the big boys get the driver out, have a crack at the green. Let's take a look at the hole, the little film I did last week. Hole 7, risk and reward hole, stroke index 18, so not many of you may get shots on this hole. Littered with bunkers, fraught with danger around the green. However, 308 yards to negotiate. Lots of you are going to get the driver out and have a go. I know I certainly love hitting driver at this hole because I want to try and make a 3, take advantage of the hole, moving on to the holes in front, which are also scoreable. It's a decent run of scoring holes coming up from here. So what do we do? Driver, yes. Aim your driver at the right hand green side bunker, have a go, small bit of draw. That's your perfect way to play the hole. It does camber in from there a little bit, so if you land the ball on that right hand bunker, it'll kick slightly to the left, and the longest of you out there may get on the green. Well, for those of you who are not on the white tee and you're not going for the green because you don't really think it's worth it, then a sensible layup is the option. Play your ball down the center, favor the left hand side if you can, and you can really hit anything from a 5-iron to a hybrid to a fairway wood. You don't need to hit driver. That'll just bring in more bunkers. Have a look with your laser, have a look with your GPS, which is the safest distance for you to hit the ball. But whichever distance you go down there, you'll only end up with a pitch to the green, and that's going to be the important element of the hole. So a good layup is essential. Make a proper swing, get the ball down the left, and it'll make it a much easier route to the green. So you've hit your ball down the left hand side, could have been any distance. Check your yardage to the flag. This is a 2-tier green, and get yourself onto the right tier. That's really, really important. One of the things you don't need to worry about is where the flag is on the green in terms of its line too much. What I want you to do is to play for the middle of the green. Wherever you are in the middle of this green, you won't be too far away from the flag. It's quite a narrow target, and missing it right or left is not really an option. So take aim down the middle, and that's the place that you'll get a much, much better chance of a birdie. For those who hit driver off the tee, this is your line, right hand bunker, cambers in from that position, and you're going to get yourself on the green. It is a long way though, but it's a risk and reward hole. 2 tiers in the green, and you can see those now from the front, running up, halfway up the green, big slope up onto that back tier, which is relatively flat. But remember, aim at the middle of the green and you won't be far away. Well, last week somebody commented that I even made hole 13 sound easy. Isn't that the way that it's supposed to be on these videos? Giving you that confidence to go and play these holes and really, really feel that you're in control and you can make a par or better. So hole 7, didn't that sound simple? Drive your ball at the right hand bunker, let it run onto the green, couple of putts, off you go to the 8th tee. You've just made a nice 3. So for those of you who are not going to do that, you're just going to hit the ball down the middle of the fairway. But remember that little bit of advice that I gave there, which is really relevant to this hole. Don't go pin searching. We're going to be hitting the ball down the middle of the green, because as long as you get it on the right level, you're not going to be far away from the pin at all. So, is hole 7 really that easy? Well, the index claims it is, stroke index 18. Not many of you get shots, as we said on the film, but sometimes we make a mess of it. There are lots of bunkers. It's a slopey green. There are lots of tricky shots that you can get around the green, and they're going to relate more to the videos that I've made regarding bunkers. So I really want you to make sure that you've looked at those videos. The one that I did with the splash shot from the bunker, really, really important. That was the one on Tuesday, which was for Tandridge Hole 8. High splash shot. That is a shot that you're really going to need around this green at some stage or another. But today is a day about driving the ball on the green. Yes, you did hear me correctly. Driving your ball on the green. Do you really feel up for it? I talked about people laying up with any club you like, but realistically, the further you can get down the hole, the easier the pitch to the green. Well, is that true? Yes, in some extent, but if you're on the wrong side of the fairway, then you're in trouble. So whilst this video today is going to be for the people who are going to get driver out and how you're going to use that driver to hit it further and further and further, let's talk about those people who are not going to go for the green, because you're going to need to look at the green first of all when you arrive on the tee, find out where the flag is. So once you've found out where the flag is, now you need to work the ball onto the right side of the fairway. If the pin is on the right hand side of the green, you can even hit it in the left hand rough. You'll be better than being on the right side of the fairway. If the pin is on the left, now you're going to be better off being on the right hand side of the fairway, because those angles to the middle of the green, what they will do is your ball lands in the middle, and because of the angle it's on, it's always going to be kicking towards the flag. Pin on the right, hard down the left. Pin on the left, hard down the right. And that's the golden rule. Is that the way that you think about that tee shot? Or do you just think about hitting the fairway? Aim small, miss small. That's what we say. Good players, you're going to be aiming at really small targets, and if it goes wrong, I'll bet you're still somewhere in the ballpark. And on this hole, your tee shot is so important for it to be on either the right or the left hand side of the fairway. But remember, just like I did on hole 16, as soon as I walk down to that tee, the first thing I'm going to do is have a look and see where that pin is. So it's all about driver, it's all about the right shape, it's all about using the contours, and it's all about how you get your ball to run towards the green. Now there are some of you out there that can pitch the ball so far, you're going to take one or two bounces and you'll be on the putting surface. That's fantastic. But for those of us that can't pitch the ball that far, use the ground. Now okay, fine, we can't do this in the winter, but what we can do for most of the golfing season is we can land the ball and use the ground. And that means that we don't want to hit the ball particularly high. There's, on the right hand side, there is only one bunker that we're even remotely going to be getting near. Then the ball is going to be travelling on an arc down towards the green. Yes, we've got to flirt with that right hand bunker, but as long as we get the trajectory of the ball correct, then we're going to actually hit the ball. It's going to land on the ground, and then it's going to run towards the green, and this is how you're going to make that happen. So we've talked about ball positions, but now with driver, we're always stereotypically putting the ball forward in our stance, big high launch, but not today. This is what we're going to do to change that. Let's have a look at that setup. Well, as I said, teeing your ball up with driver is something that we are regularly used to doing. We all buy 2 3/4 inch tee pegs, ball position forward, launch it as high as you can. So for this shot, we're actually going to be trying to use a ball position which is further back in the stance. And we're going to deliberately try to hit the ball lower, and we're also going to be deliberately trying to hit it a little bit right to left as well, just to help us on the contour. So let's have a look at the setup. Well, here's the ball that I placed on a tee peg here, and as you can see, the ball is at least halfway above the top of the club. So the first thing I'm going to do in that situation is to change that ball position, and now I'm going to tee it down. Okay, so I've made a decision to hit it lower. I've teed the ball down. I don't want the ball coming off the top of the golf club. That's where most of the loft is, and launching it too high. What I actually want in this situation is from hitting it near the equator or even below. So if I can get it in that position, it's really going to get some spring off that face, drive the ball forwards. This is going to be a different setup for a lot of people. It's going to feel really, really awkward, but it's up to you to practice it wherever you can. So now I'll take my setup, and here's my normal ball position. Let's remember, have a look at the sternum lean, but you can see how much lower I've teed the ball up. And now it's really up to you how daring you are in terms of how far in your stance can you put the ball back, because of course the more I've put the ball back in my stance, the more I need to lean the handle forwards, and that's going to seem really alien to a lot of you. Okay, so decision made. I've got to go with it now, and that's the most important thing. Commit. What are we going to do? Point the club face where we want the ball to land. Where is that? On the right hand bunker by the green. Point the club face in that position. Now it's important for me to hold that position now as I get myself, look at this position I'm in here, and now you can see that the ball is back closer to the center of the stance, and all of a sudden the handle is forward, and although there's 10 degrees of loft on my driver, I've now turned the face down to probably close to 6 or 7. That, as long as I have a good impact position and retain the handle lean forwards, that's going to drive my ball down a lot lower. It's just up to me to commit. Let's give it a go. We'll hit one now, full speed. You can have a look at that, and then we'll slow one down and have a look at that one as well. Handle forward, ball position back. You can see where I am. My chin is almost in front of the ball, which is very unusual for driver. Let's give it a go. Well, apart from taking a nice little bit of ground out of my beautiful garden there, that was absolutely nailed. Forwards, really drilled it forwards, and that's exactly what we want. What I didn't mention before I actually took that shot, and I'll tell you from the other side, is that I didn't actually tell you about adjusting your feet for the draw, because remember, we are trying to make a slightly shallower swing. Let's have a look at that in slow motion and see what the club position was like when it came through that impact position. Well, you'd have seen from that slow motion shot from behind there that I actually did adjust my feet in that one there for that draw, launched the ball off. You probably saw that the swing was a little bit flatter. I came through shaft first, then the club head, driving the ball forward. And remember, that's exactly what I want to be trying to do on a hole where I'm really looking to use the ground to run the ball onto the green. So that's hole 7 in a nutshell. Just remember this as well with your drivers. Most of you probably have got adjustable drivers. And if you don't have an adjustable driver, you're probably missing out on something that, can really help if you use that club during the seasons in different ways. And what I'm talking about there is de-lofting the club when the ground is dry, and increasing the loft on the club when the ground is soft. Launching the ball higher so that you carry it further, lands on soft ground. It's not going to go anywhere anyway. If you hit that same shot that's low, it lands on the ground sooner and the ground stops it. So high launch for the winter, spring, let's say, if it's still damp, the autumn. You want that loft increased on your driver, and basically all that's done is by unscrewing at the top, changing the position of the loft, and then tighten it back up again for those of you who've got those clubs simple to do. They've got lots of different instructions that come with them, and it's clear to see what the loft is you're actually adding to the club. But it will make a difference, and that's why those golf clubs have actually now got adjustability. It's there for you to use for your shape, how high or how low you actually hit the ball. So remember, try to use different lofts on your driver. That's hole 7 in a nutshell. For those good players, you can carry the ball a long way, then you're going to go for it anyway. For those of you who are thinking about it, you may now have a strategy to use the ground to your advantage, hit the ball a bit lower, and it runs further down the hole and leaves you a really, really easy second shot. For those of you who are not going to go for the green anyway, you now know that you're aiming really, really accurately on hole 7 to be either on the right or the left. That will make such a difference. Index 18, wide fairway, we take it for granted that we're just going to make a par. Well, why don't you take it for granted that you're just going to make a 3 and move on to the 8th? That's what I'm hoping you're all going to be able to do, and maybe after the tuition that we've had over the last month or so, we might be able to do that. Again, I hope you've enjoyed today's film. Give me a like if you have. I'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode of Breakfast with Evo.